Welcome everybody to my channel. My name is Rainer and this is my channel Rainierbooks. It's Sunday again. Week number 50 is coming to its end and the year is coming to its end. Everywhere you see year-end lists of music, year-end lists of books, year-end lists of movies, but I haven't done my year-end list yet. I'm going to do it really much closer to the end of the year when I have read more books. But today I'm going to tell you all about week number 50, so let's get started. Last week was a good week of reading for me. The weather in Stockholm here in Sweden was awful. It was so awful. It's so dark, Woke up this morning at 7:40 and it's still dark outside. It gets a little light. We get a little light of day at 8:15, 8:30, but then it disappears again after 3 p.m. already. So this is we have very short days and very long nights. We have gray weather, we have no snow, we have rain, and we have cold and windy temperatures, so it's not nice to go outside. But that's good, because we're not supposed to go outside, because the virus is thriving here in this country. We have 407 is the number of new infections per 100,000 in the population of the last 7 days here in the country, which makes us number 5 in the European Union. It makes us number 11 in the world, and we are trailing the United States. The United States had 445 new infections per 100,000 in the population in the last week. So this is not a good development. And still, the government is not making any big steps to sort of push down the virus like they do in Germany now. They decided today to go into a lockdown from Wednesday in the next week. But let's keep that virus behind and let's talk about reading. I read in a lot of books last week. As you might know, I'm still doing 2 buddy reads, which are very pleasant to me. I'm reading Leave the World Behind by Rumaan, and I'm also reading, it's here, The 392 by Ashley Hickson-Lovence. One book with Courtney and this one with Ellie. And we are getting closer towards the end. In both books we have passed the half of the book, I guess, and we're in the second half, the second 45 minutes. If it was a football game, it's not. 2 books that I really enjoy in a different way. Reviews and everything like that will come after I finished and after I had my final discussions with Courtney and Ellie about those books. Last week I revived the tech video because I was looking for tags to do a good tech video and I didn't find one. So what I decided to do a tag. I was looking for tags that have been done a couple of years ago. So I found the New York Times by the book tag that Mary Berg did a couple of years ago. And this has turned out to be quite successful, actually, because many of you have reacted to that. And I thank you very much for your kind reactions to that. And I encourage you to do the tag, because many of you who I didn't tag, I cannot tag all people, have said that they want to do it. You just do it and bring that tag back to BookTube. I think it's a great tag and I think it deserves to be done now, maybe especially now in those times of Christmas that are coming. Today is the 3rd of Advent, as we call it in Germany, the 3rd Sunday in December. It's the 2nd Sunday in December, but it's the 3rd Adveniere that we call it. We're 4 Sundays before Jesus Christ is born on the 24th of December, for those of you who are Christians. I read more last week, actually. I read more in Anne Applebaum's Twilight of Democracy, The Seductive Lure of Authoritarianism. And the more I read this book, the more I like it. She talks a lot about where I'm now. In the book, she talks a lot about Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister. And she talks a lot about Brexit. And we are in the middle of Brexit after 4 years of Brexit. We are still in the middle of Brexit, as you might know. The Chancellor... the Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, has met with the head of the European Commission, German Ursula von der Leyen, several times to discuss the conditions. And today they decided, I think, to postpone the negotiations again, because actually Britain was supposed to get kicked out of all of the benefits that they still have from the union. They're not members of the union anymore, but they still have all the rules and the trade the European trade is still together with the UK. The Guardian writes today, after another talk between Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen, Britain and the EU have taken a step forward towards striking a post-Brexit trade and security deal after Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen agreed to go the extra mile and ordered the resumption of talks in Brussels. So they ordered the resumption of talks. The problem is basically that Boris Johnson wants to leave the EU without a deal. That's what he wants. That's what a lot of people in his party are pushing him towards to. And if you read Anne Applebaum, who published this book a couple of months ago, you can see it's very interesting about her. She knows Boris Johnson quite well. He was a journalist, as you might know, a couple of years, many years ago, and he was working with Applebaum. And she knows him pretty well from those days, not today anymore. And she describes him as a narcissist who is very obsessed by himself and who actually doesn't care about what's going to happen, because he will be on the fine end anyway. But the Brexit will lead, if there's no deal, no contract between the EU and the United Kingdom, it will be a bad future. At least the next coming years would be very, very difficult for the UK, because the economy would suffer and all the consumers, all the normal people, the working people would suffer a lot from rising prices and from having problems and traveling to EU countries when travel is allowed again, and so on and so on. It's not a good situation. And actually it is something, as we all know, that David Cameron started all those years ago in 2015, I think, when he sort of initiated the poll about Brexit, was that he didn't believe that a majority would vote for leaving the EU, but people did, as you know. So this is also a thing that is discussed here, the Brexit in Twilight of Democracy by Anne Applebaum. I'm still fighting my way through Richard Ford. I have problems with this book, A Piece of My Heart, the first novel, and I already have confessed that I'm not going to read all his novels as I planned from the beginning. That was a little bit too much. I'm still reading. I'm doing like 10, 15 pages every other day, so I should be, if I cling to that, I should be able to finish the book until next Sunday, hopefully. This about the reading, and I think that I also will finish the 392 and leave the world behind over the course of the next week. About listening, as you know, I'm listening to podcasts, and I actually found now a story that is totally captivating me and that I didn't know anything about it. I have to confess that, because I'm not living in the United States. But there's a great podcast that I would recommend by ABC. They did a podcast called The Dropout, and this was already published in 2019, from January, I think, to April, in 5 or 6 episodes, and it's a very investigative documentary as a podcast about the rise and fall of Elizabeth Holmes, who was the youngest woman ever to become a self-made billionaire, who started a company called Theranos. Theranos is the name. A company that claimed, as the idea of their rise, was that they would be able to just take one drop of blood and do 200 to 250 different tests, lab tests, with one drop of blood. This would have changed the world if it would have been possible to take just one drop of blood and do 250 different tests for all kinds of sicknesses or illnesses that people can have. But of course this wasn't possible. But for years and years, people believed in Elizabeth Holmes. She tried to copy Steve Jobs and wore the same kind of clothes that Steve Jobs wore. She lowered her voice, and she had a very baritone voice when she was speaking, although she actually had a more girlish voice. And now Elizabeth Holmes is, I don't know, she's probably running free in the US, but she waits a trial next March that is supposed to start March 2021 that could give her up to 20 years in prison. And this is a very interesting story about the daughter of one of the former richest families in the United States who had an enormous ambition and was sort of obsessed by an idea that actually was not possible to realize. And this podcast, I highly recommend it. The Dropout by ABC. I'll put a link down below. Next week, I'm going to do a tag video. Again, I was tagged by Brian from Bookish. Thank you for that. So that was everything for today. I thank you very much for watching this video. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and make this channel grow a little bit. I just reached 300 subscribers yesterday, and I'm very happy and very thankful for that. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great day. Have good food and socially distance yourself and wear a mask when you go outside. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.